Portland Thorns are back in the Rose City after a 3-week break from home matches, hosting the Washington Spirit tonight on a beautiful May evening in Portland, Oregon. Welcome to Providence Park. I'm Jake Zivin alongside former U.S. women's national teamer Janine Spara. Janine, the Portland Thorns enter this weekend in first place in the NWSL. They're going to need to win tonight to keep pace with Kansas City and with Chicago, who have already played this week and have won and have jumped above the Thorns in the table. 2-0-1 so far, 7 points for Portland, and they've amassed that record in pretty much every way possible.
They have. They've come from behind in the 2-2 tie with Chicago. They've held the lead 1-0. And they've also, just had that struggle of trying to catch up, go back and forth, and hold the lead. So they've faced it all, which is really nice. It's good for them. They're showing good mettle. They're coming through, and they're doing everything. And I think the interesting thing is going to see what Washington brings this time and what they're going to do.
They're unbeaten at home, 2 matches, 2 wins for the Thorns here at Providence Park. Their one road match last week came from behind, down 2-0, just 8 minutes into the match to Chicago, came back and got a 2-2 draw out of that. We're in the part of the season where the Women's World Cup players are gone. They're not here anymore. The only one playing tonight for the Thorns is Nadine Angerer. She'll be leaving for Germany tomorrow morning. But that doesn't mean this isn't a very talented squad that Paul Riley can put out on the pitch tonight.
It is. We still have those players that are on the fringe of the national team. We have the up-and-coming college players, the players that have been out for 2 or 3 years out of college. I mean, in this country with women's soccer, there's a great talent pool, and it's here. And the nice thing is they get to play in this league.
The Portland Thorns have scored 7 goals this season, 6 of them from players not playing in the Women's World Cup, from players that will be here tonight, and all 6 of their assists from that core group of players. Really quick, Washington 2-2-0 coming in. What do you see from the Spirit, Janine?
Well, they're coming off a really tough loss to Seattle. Seattle has a talented team and really worked them hard. They fought back. They stayed in the game. They came back from a 2 down to score a goal. But I think they're going to come out strong.
Thorns and Spirit kickoff just minutes away. We'll be right back.
Giving back to the community is very important to our family.
Help the Portland community and buy your 50/50 raffle tickets at every Timbers and Thorns home game. As a current board member of AC Portland, I know they're making a difference in the community through sports and education. 50% of the jackpot benefits Active Children Portland and the Stand Together Fields for All program. To participate, look for the 50/50 signs at home games and visit timbers.com/50/50 for more information.
From an early age, I knew I was destined for greatness. Dad would say,
"Eres un has abocado, mijo. Eres especial."
Dad was right. I was ripe for big things. Not typical expected things, but bold, more exciting things. So I carried on until one day I found my true calling.
Discover new guacamole sandwiches at McDonald's with freshly made pico de gallo and guacamole made with Hass avocados.
I made the big time, Dad.
You have no idea how your health rolls out in waves of good. Providence.
Welcome back to Providence Park. A gorgeous May evening, 80 degrees, not a cloud in the sky. A beautiful night for soccer here at Providence Park in the Rose City. The starting lineups for tonight's match will begin with the Portland Thorns in goal. Nadine Angerer, her last match before heading to Germany to join her national team before the Women's World Cup. Emily Menges, Kat Williamson, and Rachel Van Hallebeck in the back. Kendall Johnson will start at left wing back, McCall Zerboni and Sinead Farley in the defensive midfield. Taylor Camo, a reserve player, getting her second straight start at right wing back. The attacking midfield will be Mana Shim and Ali Long. They have played so well together, combined for 5 goals, 3 assists so far this season. And up top, another reserve player, Sarah Jackson, making her Providence Park debut, her first ever start for the Portland Thorns. For the Washington Spirit, in goal, Kelsey Weiss. On the back line, Whitney Church, Estelle Johnson, Megan Oyster, and Catherine Reynolds. Angela Salem, Christine Nairn, Tori Huster in the midfield, Joanna Lohman, Crystal Dunn, Francisca Ordega make up the attack for the Washington Spirit, who are without Allie Krieger and Ashlyn Harris among their Women's World Cup players. For the Portland Thorns, Janine, 2 reserve players in this starting 11. Taylor Como, who started last week against Chicago. Sarah Jackson, who played 1 minute off the bench against Chicago, and she's starting up top. 2 players that maybe the fans don't know a lot about, but the Portland Thorns know a lot about them. They've been in this group, practicing, training with this group since the preseason started.
They have been, and Paul's really excited about the both of them. He knows what they can do. He fully believes in them. The team does. As you said, they've been together from the beginning, so it's nothing new for them, and they know what they're going to do, and the nice thing is that we're about to see what they can do as well.
Sarah Jackson, the forward, is going to have a lot of eyes on her, and Paul Riley thought it could be advantageous that she'll be making her debut, Janine, because Washington does not know what to expect out of Sarah Jackson.
No, they don't. It's kind of a little bit of maybe a trick up his sleeve, or something up his sleeve. So we're about to find out, and he, like I said, he fully believes in her and what she can do, and we're going to see it on the field tonight.
The 4th starter at forward for the Portland Thorns this season. She's a graduate of Santa Clara University, played there last in 2013, was honorable mention all WCC for Santa Clara that year. We are set for kickoff at Providence Park. The Thorns will start with the ball. Mana Shim, Sinead Farley taking that kickoff, but Washington immediately wins possession. Janine, the first few minutes of this match, what do you want to see out of the Thorns?
I want to see them win the ball back at this point and just really establish a good game of possession.
McCall Zerboni doing her part to establish that possession, winning the ball in the midfield. Now Ali Long comes forward. This is Sarah Jackson's first touch. Mana Shim, there's a lot of space for Kendall Johnson on the left side. Cross into the box. Jackson couldn't put it on net, and dangerous from Catherine Reynolds, who played it out for a corner.
That's a good little early look at the ball movement that the Thorns have. They're able to get the ball up quickly in good transition, get the ball to the outside, and then a good threatening chance right in front of the goal.
Already a corner kick in the first minute for the Portland Thorns. Ali Long, Thorns' leading goal scorer so far this season, will take this corner. Thorns scored off a corner in their opener. Into the box, almost an opener. Flag is up as Van Hallebeck couldn't direct the rebound into goal, but the Thorns, Janine, in the first minute of the match, very threatening.
That's a great reaction from the Thorns. Up in there, able to get a little touch in that ball, but Wise did a great job. Really quick, got a quick hand on it, was able to keep it out, and even on the rebound, she was able to make that second save, which kept them clean for the beginning.
It was Kat Williamson, the center back, with the first opportunity for the Thorns. This Portland Thorns midfield, the core, as Paul Riley likes to call them, still here. This box in the midfield of McCall Zerboni, Sinead Farley, Ali Long, Mana Shim. They've started every match for the Thorns this season. Paul Riley has talked about how key they are. Ordega tries to get a cross off. Van Hallebeck got her foot in there and then got it clear. Ordega keeps it in play. Van Hallebeck pokes it away. Thorns struggling to get this ball clear. That's a giveaway. Crystal Dunn, she's dangerous on her left foot. And it's 1-0 Washington. Crystal Dunn in the 3rd minute.
That was just a little bit of an unlucky play. Kind of a bad pass. Wasn't really to the person she wanted to get it to. And Crystal Dunn was just there and able to capitalize on the situation. Great shot from a great player. Now, as Paul said, you're going to be able to see what the Thorns are going to do if they have to chase the game. So they've been in this situation once. They've come back against Chicago. It's a little bit early in the game. It's a little bit tough in under 3 minutes, but it's going to be interesting to see how they come out.
A deja vu for the Portland Thorns. Last week it was a 4th-minute goal from Chicago. This week, a 3rd-minute goal from Washington. First time they've trailed at home this season.
The nice thing about the Thorns is that they've been confident and they've been consistent this season. So Paul said that they've been able to keep that confidence and it hasn't really flagged. They haven't seen that kind of dissipate. So I think the Thorns will come out. I think they're going to continue to press them, to go at the game. And I don't think this is going to really affect them too much. I think they're going to have a good response to it.
And a difference from last year, Paul Riley said that last week's match, if that were last season, could have gotten out of hand. Instead, they came back and they got a point.
That was a great example with that Chicago game that they played where they came back from 2-0 down.
Reynolds in the back. Crystal Dunn, the goal scorer for Washington, her 4th goal of the season. First overall pick of last year's NWSL draft. She was actually training with the U.S. women's national team in L.A. all week, flew up from Los Angeles to Portland to join Washington. Not on the Women's World Cup roster, but because of some injuries, including Tobin Heath, Crystal Dunn was called in to fill out the training pitch for the U.S. women.
I think Mark Parsons is pretty happy right about now that she was able to come back and that she is here for game time.
Thorns will have a throw in a dangerous spot now. Como, Sinead Farley looking for Allie Long. It's sent clear by Washington. Como behind the defense. Low cross dealt with by Washington.
It's a nice little ball by Farley in behind for Como to run onto.
Taylor Como, 21 years old, went to Cal Berkeley, has been with this team throughout the preseason, and she's offside after taking the throw-in. Played 59 minutes last week against Chicago. And Paul Riley said he did that not because she started in place of Kendall Johnson, and not because she beat out Kendall Johnson per se, but he wanted to get her that experience of playing in a match as soon as possible, because she's going to have to be a big part of this team from now and until the Women's World Cup players get back.
Exactly. There's the short-term and the long-term goals. You have to make an investment in people, and you have to bring them along in case of anything that happens. He knew that some of those players were going to be gone, so that you obviously can plan for. And he's doing a good job of managing the players to make sure that there is no letdown. The transition is seamless because there isn't really a big transition there.
Allie Long wins it in the midfield. Angela Salem grabs a hold of Long. And a foul called on Salem. The new guacamole burger or chicken sandwich at McDonald's, made with Haas avocados and served with freshly made pico de gallo and a slice of lime. Try it today, paired with your choice of sizzling 100% beef or tender, delicious chicken at participating McDonald's. Dunn comes back to win it. Crystal Dunn listed as a defender on Washington's roster, but playing more of an attacking role for the Spirit to start this season. Was the player of the week in the NWSL Week 2 after a brace against Sky Blue FC.
Scoring always makes a good case for yourself to maybe play a little higher up the field.
Allie Long, she's scored this year, and it gets through Estelle Johnson. Jackson bumped off the ball. Unger well off her line. Nadine Unger is going to be flying out of PDX tomorrow to go meet up with her German teammates before the Women's World Cup. The last of the 8 Thorns players that will be playing in the Women's World Cup to go meet up with their team. Alex Morgan, Tobin Heath, Christine Sinclair, Rian Wilkinson, Kaylin Kyle, Jody Taylor, Steph Catley, all not here tonight.
And we wish them all a lot of luck and that come back safe and soon. Well, not really soon, I guess.
It's the catch-22,
it
right?
Is.
Do you want them to come back soon, or do you want them to have
after July 5th
a good amount of success?
Yeah.
Exactly. And the Women's World Cup will be fun to watch all of them play for their respective countries in Canada. Lohman, Long is there. Lohman's able to get it to Reynolds. Oyster back to Kelsey Weiss. Kelsey Weiss is the normal backup, you could say, for Washington. Ashlyn Harris, their starting keeper, is on the Women's World Cup roster. Weiss has played 1 match this season. It was last week against Seattle. Gave up 3 goals.
3 goals, good quality goals, though. She had a good run out there. Seattle faced, had a lot of pressure on them, gave her a lot of tests, but she did a good, solid job. She's doing a good job for Washington.
Similar situation that Michelle Bedos is in for the Thorns, playing as a backup, but is going to have a big opportunity this summer to get a lot of games.
That's another great example, and Paul has talked about Betos and how she always battles with Ungerer, and she's right there, right alongside her, pushing her and getting closer and closer. So it sounds maybe a little overstated, but the transition will be less than you think, because there's some good quality players here. These guys are really, they're cooking. The team is playing well.
Yeah, Paul Riley's really high on Michelle Bedos, and not only Michelle Bedos, but all of the players that he's put out on the pitch tonight. You can imagine when everybody's back in late July, mid-July, it's going to be really difficult. His job might be harder then. It's kind of counterintuitive. As Jackson plays Long in, the flag is up. Allie Long is offside.
A little unfortunate she got caught past the defender on that one.
Getting back to that point, you think you have 8 players playing in the Women's World Cup. Io, a big signing, isn't here yet. It's got to be tough for a manager, but in some ways it's probably going to be tougher when everybody's here and he has some really difficult decisions to make as to who goes on the pitch.
Those are the kind of the decisions you want to make, not, oh no, I don't have anyone to put in, but a wealth of opportunity and talent. So I think he's going to take that decision anytime. He's going to be able to want to do that.
Crystal Dunn again trying to get behind the Thorns back line. She's able to, but can't get much of a shot off. There's Michelle Bedos on the bench. Will be the starter, the surefire starter, beginning tomorrow when Nadine Ungerer heads out to Germany. 1 more match for Ungerer here. Bedos started the season opener for the Thorns. Played very well in that 4-1 win over Boston.
She's quality. That's one of the hard things about a goalkeeper. There's only one position. It's not like you can play left and right goalkeeper, which I don't know. I think I might have tried at one point or something. But
Michelle Bedos has backed up the best in the world, the best keepers in the world. Hope Solo in Seattle, now Nadine Ungerer here in Portland.
You train with the best, and it just elevates your game. And it's the same thing with these players that are here now that we're able to play with some of those players that are gone. They've really been able to learn from them, grow in that training environment. And so, you're able to see how their game has come along and how it's raised to this level.
Kendall Johnson, left wing back. Gets it into Mana Shim. Johnson, Zerboni, she can get to it. Yes, she can. Dangerous ball handled by Reynolds.
Zerboni did a great job of getting around in that ball in. It's just a little unfortunate the runs on the back end of it weren't quite there where they needed to be in order to get something off on it.
Long and Jackson both in the box. As Oyster, I think, didn't think Zerboni was going to be able to get there. Shim can't get much on that cross. Rather, it was Farley. Still, the Thorns possess. Zerboni does well to turn. Tries to pick out Jackson. That went off of Estelle Johnson. It's a throw for the Thorns.
Jackson's finding herself a little bit isolated. Some of the balls in have been a little bit tough for her to get on the end of.
Shim with some space in the midfield. She'll have a go. That's wide of the net. Most of the goals for the Thorns this season have come from the midfield, not from the strikers. Christine Sinclair, the only player listed as a forward on the roster that has a goal for the Thorns. Otherwise, it's been Long with 3, Shim with 2. Long played Jackson through a little too much. As there's a second ball on the pitch, nobody noticed until Kelsey Weiss just did. But the goals have been coming from Shim and Long. I mean, they have 5 of the 7 goals have been coming from the midfield. Sinead Farley has the other.
That speaks to that core that Paul always talks about, that 4 in the middle.
And this is a bad giveaway. Ortega, Angerer off her line, and it's 2. Second straight match, the Thorns have gone down 2 goals early. And it was really 2 chances for Washington, 2 goals, and another 2-0 hole to climb out of for Portland.
I don't know if they're trying to make it harder on themselves. It's maybe they have kind of a little bit of a game plan to get themselves going. Let's hope.
Ortega just pounced on that. Angerer quick off her line, but nothing she could do.
Just a couple bad passes that are just not sharp, just not decisions that you're really trying to make to be safe in the back.
Ortega's first goal of the season.
These are learning situations, though. You know, it is very early in the season, so they have, you can make a couple of bad mistakes. You can, get the stuff out of your system, and then again, see where they go. They have a good record, and they have faced different things. So this could just be another one of those games where it's just taking them a little bit to kind of get in the rhythm of it and then bring it out.
Jackson picks out Camo. Cross back in, handled by Washington. Long did well to make it difficult for the Spirit. Now Farley's doing the same. Last week against Chicago, it was 2-0 Red Stars 8 minutes in. Kristen Press scored both goals for Chicago. But the Thorns came back and got 2 of their own. This is Allie Long. Can she pull one back? Still Long in the box. Brings it back out. Camo. First time cross. Farley. Back to Camo. Camo. Nifty move. Sends it back in. And it's right at Kelsey Weiss.
Paul Riley talked about consistency before the game. I'm not sure this consistency is what he was talking about. The second game, they're down 2-0, but they're still pressing. They do have threatening chances. They're getting up and getting forward. I think it's just that rhythm, finding that rhythm in each other.
Now, they have been controlling this match possession-wise. The majority of the match has been played in the Thorns attacking half.
Well, I think they did actually pass the ball to the forwards, right? So on the goals.
The second one especially was a giveaway. Mark Parsons, Washington Spirit's head coach in his 3rd season. Led the Spirit to 4th place finish in the NWSL regular season last year after becoming the head coach midway through the Spirit's first NWSL season in 2013, where Washington ultimately finished in 8th place. Christine Nairn, Crystal Dunn, back to Nairn, Huster. Looking through for Ortega. She wasn't making that run. Almost a little miscommunication between McCall Zerboni and Nadine Angerer, who, if she had rolled that out to Zerboni when she wanted to, Zerboni wasn't looking. There could have been another chance for Dunn. And this is Nairn. She has space. Dunn has even more space on the right side. First time cross blocked out by Menges for the corner kick for Washington. First corner kick of the match for the Spirit.
I think the good thing for the Thorns now is they've been very controlled in the games that we've seen, and they're still keeping that control. There's not that, it doesn't seem like there's that sense of letting down, or that this is going to put them under. So that is good resilience that we're seeing out there from the Thorns.
Paul Riley talked about it to us before the match, that he said last season if they went down 2-0 early like they did to Chicago, could have ended 4-5-0. Certainly doesn't, this match doesn't feel like it's out of hand, like you said. And that was an opportunity for Washington, but ultimately went wide. The Spirit haven't had a ton of chances, but have looked dangerous.
They definitely have capitalized on the couple of chances they did have.
First 2 goals were well taken. And that was a well-struck volley. Van Hollebeck, the Thorns player that was down, she's back up, appears to be okay. Nadine Aguirre tells everyone to just head forward for this goal kick. Farley won it, tried to get it to Camo, and Reynolds sends it out for a throw-in.
I think the Thorns need those players to step up, and Farley's one of them. She's one of the players in the last couple games that has really, in the beginning, kind of put a stamp on it and controlled that midfield. And right now they're just a little, like I said, a little bit off their rhythm. But if she and Zerboni step up, kind of take over that midfield a little bit and go at them, I think they might get that spark that they're looking for.
Paul Riley has raved about the work of McCall Zerboni and Sinead Farley in the defensive midfield. Really, the entire box. If you include Mana Shim and Allie Long up top, they make a box in the midfield. He's raved about their work so far this season. Not hard to see why. Big reason that the Thorns 2-0-1 heading into this match. He's going to need them to play well for the next 70 minutes. The Thorns are going to get a result. Weiss under a little bit of pressure. Just has to send it across midfield.
And looking at the Thorns, it's interesting to try to see and watch them, see if you can see that player emerge, that player that's going to kind of lead them on, see if they're saying anything or doing anything and making that kind of subtle difference that the team will need. So it's going to be interesting to watch and see if we can kind of pick that player out and who that might be.
It's Paul Riley in his second season here in Portland. Led the Thorns to the playoffs last year. Feels even better about this year's team. Says now he has all of his players. Dunn into the box, or Dega couldn't get a solid touch on that ball. But again, the Spirit looking dangerous, trying to add to their 2-goal lead.
There are definitely some tough matchups up top. They've got some really good forward and attacking players for Washington.
Ordega and Dunn have been a handful already tonight. Each scored a goal.
Lorman also has a goal on the season too. She's definitely an attacking threat, and she's getting in for the injured Benini, who hurt her knee, who was also had a great, she had a great game against Seattle. I know they didn't win, but she did some really important, threatening things in the game. So that change, I don't know if that's maybe has even helped them to kind of to stir Washington a little bit.
Joanna Lohman scored their Washington's lone goal last week. Christine Nairn also with 3 goals this season, scored 6 a year ago. There is some attacking power, as we've seen already tonight on the Washington Spirit. Reynolds wins that header over Taylor Camo. Alaska Airlines offers food and beverages from iconic Northwest brands. Learn more at alaskaair.com/beyond. Williamson, the Thorns captain, composed, sends it back to Angerer. Paul Riley's talked a lot about Kat Williamson, who he gave the captain armband to upon her return to Portland. He traded away Kat Williamson.
He did. He traded her for, as he says, the best player in the world.
Right.
So he decided to bring Vero on and take that kind of gamble that he could get her back. And he was lucky that he ended up being able to. And here she is now, as you said, the captain of the team.
Sarah Jackson unable to run onto that ball. And Kat Williamson was given the armband when she came back, and Paul Riley wants her to be the leader.
Yeah, he talked about being consistent, about picking someone that was here, and he's always said that core group, but she's one of that core of the players.
Farley couldn't strike that ball well as it fell to her inside the box. And Williamson's been here, part of the group of players that was here in January training at Providence Park before preseason started. Leading this team, part of the core of the group. Done. Zerboni wins it for the Thorns. Farley gets it to Zerboni. Zerboni swarmed and it's taken away. Christine Nairn off the crossbar. What an effort from Christine Nairn from 40 yards out. Angerer off her line and almost a third.
She's a quality player, Nairn. I've seen her play at Penn State in college, and she's just always up to something. She works hard, good technically, good tactically, got the ball, and immediately looked to goal like any good attacking player should.
That would have been spectacular from Christine Nairn. Just the thought to even try that. Audacious.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you're supposed to do, that you should do, but you're not often encouraged to do it because we're always told to pass the ball, which when you see an opportunity, that's the thing that closes down the fastest. That's the thing you have to do the quickest.
Done. Nairn. Angerer sure to stay back on her line when Nairn gets the ball in the midfield. As a goalkeeper, you almost get chipped in a situation like that. Does that change your mindset for the rest of the match? Are you more tentative to come off your line, or do you stay aggressive and stay, Nadine Angerer loves to play off her line. Do you continue to play off her line?
Hopefully it makes you a little bit upset. I'd like to say that I would get a little bit upset, chipped or something, but just be a little bit more aware so that you know where the team situation is, and if they give the ball away or if you get caught in a certain place, know where you are in the goal, and you've got to adjust that much faster.
Dunn tries it from distance. It's blocked by Menges. Follow-up from Houston is into the Rose City Riveters.
I think Washington really is taking the challenge of that game last weekend where they didn't get as many attacking opportunities as they wanted. Come in here and really you can see even that Huster, she got the ball and the first thing she did, she was at least 45 yards away from the goal, but she looked forward. She looked forward straight away, which is really good and shows you the mindset of this team.
Spirit can score goals. Scored 3 goals against Kansas City, 3 goals against Sky Blue FC. Sarah Jackson wants to score a goal, but she's offside.
I think they have the most goals for, but also the most goals against.
It's been a roller coaster season for Washington. Started out with a 2-0 loss to Houston on opening night, then came back and beat Kansas City 3-1, then beat Sky Blue FC 3-1, and then lost to Seattle 3-1. They've played 3 straight matches with 3-1 score lines. The Thorns, of course, hope tonight it's not a 4th straight.
I don't know if someone's out there writing this before they go out there and following through. I'm not sure.
Ortega runs onto it. Williamson is able to win it for the Thorns. Shim couldn't get it to Long. Huster Picks out Ortega. Her shot is blocked by Farley.
Again, she's at least 35, 40 yards out, and she's trying to shoot that ball.
Washington's been aggressive.
It's a nice attacking mindset. I'm all for it.
And here come the Thorns. Jackson over to Long. Has some players in the middle. Long cuts it back on her left foot. Tries to find Jackson. She turns, shoots, saved by Weiss, and put back in by Monashim. The Thorns have pulled one back. It's 2-1.
That's great. That's the resilience that Paul was talking about from his team. They didn't give up. They went and attacked the goal. Weiss made a great save to get a hand on that first shot at close range. Knocks it down, but Shim is right there to finish it.
Second time that Kelsey Weiss has made a big save inside the box. First time the Thorns couldn't get on the rebound. This time, Mana Shim can. Her third goal of 2015.
I think Weiss might be looking for a little bit of help and support from her teammates.
Allie Long, the cutback, and Sarah Jackson, the reserve player. Paul Riley talked her up in pregame, really likes the kind of player that she is. And a big part of that goal, being able to turn and send a dangerous shot on net that Weiss could do nothing but just
That's a great turn from Jackson. She just turned immediately, went to goal again. That's a great save by Weiss. I mean, Jackson's at about the 12-yard line, 11 to 12-yard line. Weiss is about 2 yards off her line, so that's a pretty close shot for her to get a hand on.
This script playing out so similarly to last week. It was the 29th minute last week as well when Christine Sinclair pulled one back for the Thorns to make it 2-1 after they went down 2-0 early. This goal for Monashim also in the 29th minute. Thorns ended up with a 2-2 draw last week against Chicago, but had chances to win that match.
I think that might have been the thing that Jackson needed to settle in a little bit. Paul talked about seeing how a youngster comes out and plays with 13,000 people watching them, or whatever the crowd number is today.
And here is Jackson. Couldn't get a shot off as Estelle Johnson closed down, but it's a corner kick for the Thorns. It's one thing to train every day, play well in training as Sarah Jackson has, play well in the preseason, in some scrimmages as she has, and it's another thing to come here in front of 14,000.
It is. I told Paul, if they opened up the stadium, there's so many fans here in Portland that they probably would show up if they were allowed to be here.
Right.
So, but it's hard. You can't replicate the game, the intensity from each player, the other team, and that kind of crowd noise and that excitement that surrounds it is definitely difficult.
Long's corner into the area. A chance for Farley, still there, and cleared finally by Washington. Farley. Williamson back to Farley, who was not making the run.
That was a little bit forced that time. They've in previous games, I think the Thorns have done a little bit better job with ball movement, just kind of swinging it side to side and being patient. They were numbers down on the outside, and they gave it back to Farley, who didn't really have a chance, and she wasn't starting to run, so it wasn't completely red either.
Camo, nifty footwork to keep that in play, but a giveaway. And I think that was a shot from Lohman. Again, aggressive from Washington. It almost seems like this is planned. This is part of the game plan to try to catch Angerer off her line with as many times as they've tried to shoot from very deep.
I wonder if part of the spoken of lineup, the formation that Paul uses, it all kind of has encouraged them to be a little bit more attacking than they would normally be. If it's that, if they have that kind of psychological, hey, they're playing in a 3-back, we can really go at them. If, like you said, they've seen Angerer, they've caught her, she's been a little bit high and trying to get those early balls. It'd be interesting to be able to kind of ask them what they're seeing there, what they're trying to do, where the thought starts for them.
And Paul Riley has gone to this 3-4-2-1 formation, you could call it, with the 2 wing backs who they can kind of defend with 5 if they need, or at least with 4 if they need to, with one of the wing backs dropping back. But the wing backs are certainly not defenders. They play very aggressive. Ortega. Como comes back to defend and wins it for the Thorns.
That's the help Paul Riley talked about, with Como coming back and from that wing back position.
Lohman. Zerboni wins it for Portland. Johnson. Zerboni combines well with Kendall Johnson. An early ball forward. It kind of held up at the top of the box, but Weiss is able to collect.
Try to pick a different iron on that one.
A little more backspin, and it would have been right in the path of Sarah Jackson. Ortega goes down. Van Hallebeck called for the foul, and she'll be shown a yellow card. That's the first of the match for either team. And the first yellow card of the season for Rachel Van Hallebeck. Not much of complaint, I think, from the Thorns on that card.
It's a little bit unfortunate. Van Hallebeck losing her footing a little bit and kind of rolling over and into the player was maybe a little unfortunate, but a foul nonetheless.
Ortega remains down, as Washington's trainer will come out to look at Francisca Ortega, who scored the second goal of this match for Washington. Fill up with 8 gallons or more at participating 76 stations to receive a voucher for 2 free general admission Thorns tickets. Visit timbers.com/76 for more details. 35th minute, 2-1. Do you like how the Thorns have responded to going down 2 goals early?
Yeah, I do. I don't think you've seen, like we've talked about, that letdown, that kind of mentality where it's like, oh no, here it goes. We're down to, it's going to be more. They are consistent. They are not showing quite as much of the confidence that I've seen them play with in other games, but it's not down. It's not less. It's not bad. It's just not quite as fresh or sparked as they've been.
Mana Shim pulled one back in the 29th minute. And Ortega now getting a hand as she is helped off the pitch by Washington's trainer. Gives a chance for the Thorns to reorganize defensively before this free kick.
We could call this a tactical foul now. So she meant to fall and kind of get her over, and then we can chat about it for a little bit.
Ortega now off the pitch, and we're ready to get back to play. Christine Nairn over the ball. Nairn almost scored from close to this spot earlier in this match, of course, in the run of play.
True, she just picked that ball up and hit it first time. That's the one that hit the crossbar, so she's got the range.
Dunn now over next to Nairn. It'll be Nairn. Sends it into the box. Flicked clear by Farley. Jackson, can she get to it? Yep. Maintains possession for the Thorns.
Nice little piece of work by Jackson, able to touch it around and retain possession.
Johnson looking direct for Allie Long. Well off her line is Weiss, who does very well to deal with that.
To come out in the full volley, clear.
Aggressive goalkeeping from both Kelsey Weiss and Nadine Angerer tonight.
There's a lot of quality goalkeepers in this league. It's a nice place to showcase the talent that's out there.
And she had to get to that ball. Allie Long, I think, would have been behind the Spirit back line.
Exactly. She came out and kind of cut that situation out before it became anything very dangerous.
Salem has some space to turn. Finds Ortega, now back into the match. Dispossessed by Zerboni.
She is tough. Zerboni has some of the best 1v1 defending. She really wins a lot in that midfield. That really, basically not obviously it stops the attack because she wins possession, but she does it pretty consistently.
The foul was called back on Ordega. It was a delayed whistle, as referee was waiting to see if anything would develop for an advantage for the Thorns. Williamson gonna play this ball direct into the box, looking for Long, headed clear by Washington. Kumo trying to get around Reynolds, is unable to, but that's a Thorns throw.
One of the things about the Thorns attack tonight is they haven't had numbers up very often, or maybe at all. And even in that situation, they're looking at a long ball service, and it's still about a 1v5 into Ali Long. So some of their chances need to be a little bit more.
That was dangerous. Kumo.
I was going to say, a little more dangerous.
Right. That'll be a goal kick after all for Washington. But a little more testing of the back line. Weiss gives it away. Johnson tried to head it back towards Jackson, just a little too much on that.
That's a great thought. You're right. They do need to test the back line, and they haven't been able to be in that situation very much tonight.
Dunn finds Lohman. Couldn't get it to Ordega. Thorns can counter. Instead, Long will play it back to Van Hollebeck. Forward towards Sinead Farley. Farley has some space. Helps it over to Jackson, who was offside. The flag is up.
I'd like to see Farley continue to get involved in the play. She hasn't really been in there. You've seen McCall Zerboni a little bit and influencing things and being near the play. And Farley does such a great job, and she just hasn't been close to the action very much.
Pressure from the Thorns in the midfield forces a poor pass from Catherine Reynolds. And pressure from Washington forces Kumo to send that ball into touch. And a giveaway. Heavy touch from Mana Shim. No foul called as both players slide into each other. Play on. Salem, a lot of space for Washington. Right side, Whitney Church hasn't had a lot to do offensively. The right back gets it to Crystal Dunn. Dunn, Lohman almost turned, but Van Hollebeck defended well.
That was a great idea by Lohman to make that little touch of the inside of her shoe, trying to break free or try to set the ball through her defender.
Kumo looking for Long. Flag stays down, but Weiss is off her line.
That was well timed by Jackson. She held her run, ball played in. She just got a little unlucky. It was good to see again. Weiss is commanding her box really well. She came off immediately and was watching that space behind her defenders.
Megan Oyster sends it forward. Thorns win it. And give it right back. Thorns didn't get their equalizer last week until the second half, but it came early in the second half. A few more minutes here in the first half to try to go into halftime level. Farley cuts it back, sends it into the box. Sent clear by Washington. Camo will have a go, and it's well wide of the net. Ambitious from Taylor Camo. Scored 8 goals, had 6 assists with Cal in the fall as a senior. Had 2 goals in the preseason against the University of Arizona in a preseason friendly down in Tucson. Player that Paul Riley really likes a lot at right wing back. She's able to keep this in play. Direct looking for Sarah Jackson. Controlled by Huster. Now Reynolds. Thorns take it away.
That's a little bit more of the switching and movement we're looking for the Thorns to do.
Kendall Johnson trying to use her speed down the left touchline. Wins a throw.
I haven't really said that name very much tonight either, no. Kendall Johnson, have you?
And more of the attacking certainly has been really direct, I think, from the Thorns.
Yeah, and just not a lot of really good chances to get forward and connection. And part of that, I think, is because we just haven't had the numbers up there. We've seen them try to give the ball to fine Sarah Jackson, who we haven't given quite the quality service that we've done, or that the Thorns have done in previous games. And then the Thorns haven't had the numbers either in the attack that would help with a little bit of that supportive play.
Again, trying to go kind of route one right down the middle there. Pops out to Camo on the right side. Falls to Zerboni. Top of the box, alley long. Zerboni. Back to Farley. Settle things down. Into Long. Flag goes up. She's offside.
That's such a great little ball from Farley. She hit it just right in there. Allie probably was off by only a step. She just maybe took a step a little too soon for that ball, but it was really well played. Great choice of service. Right into her path and in front of goal.
They've been probing, so to speak, the back line. 2 minutes of stoppage time shown by the fourth official. We'll have 2 more minutes in this first half. Long flicks it on very well to Sinead Farley. Lines up across, sends it low. Sent clear by Washington.
I would have liked to seen a little earlier ball from Farley on there. That would have caught those defenders off. She had Jackson in the box. She had Mona Shim. She had a couple options there. She hit it early. She took an extra touch, extra couple steps, and just allowed the defense to kind of come back a little bit and cover it up, and not be able to get anything off.
Van Hollebeck gave it away. Ordega picks out Crystal Dunn. Back to Huster. Nairn. Now Salem. Ordega can't keep it in. Francisco Ordega scored the second goal of this match. She's in her first season with Washington. She's a member of the Nigerian national team. Played the last 2 seasons in Sweden. 2 assists this year. Now on the goal sheet, on the scoring sheet with her goal earlier today. Here is Ordega. Back to Nairn. Shim comes back to help defend, but it falls to Crystal Dunn. 1-on-4, Crystal Dunn carrying it into the box. Van Hollebeck slides in, knocks it out, but a corner kick for Washington in what might be the final opportunity of this first half.
Always tough, those situations at the beginning and end of halves. A lot of things happen. Do they get the one right in before the end of the first half? just interested to see the Thorns and how they hold this off or what they do with it.
Obviously important for the Thorns to defend here. Nairn will take the corner. Sends it near post. Long heads it clear. And the first half is done. 3 goals in this first half. An entertaining half at Providence Park. Washington Spirit with a 2-1 lead over the Portland Thorns. When we come back, we are going to go one-on-one with Mana Shim, go a little deeper into the Thorns midfielder who has scored in this first half her 3rd goal of the season. We'll be right back at halftime. Thorns trail the Spirit 2-1.
Don't do it! Your account balance is $38. How much is that?
It's $40.
40. With an overdraft fee of $35? Is that blouse really worth $75? It doesn't even have sleeves.
We have shirts with sleeves.
Don't get charged overdraft fees. Switch to the new KeyBank hassle-free account. It's a checkless account with payment options and no monthly fees.
From an early age, I knew I was destined for greatness. Dad would say,
Eres un has abocado, mijo. Eres especial.
Dad was right. I was ripe for big things. Not typical expected things, but bold, more exciting things. So I carried on until one day I found my true calling.
Discover new guacamole sandwiches at McDonald's with freshly made pico de gallo and guacamole made with Haas avocados.
I made the big time, Dad.
Sometimes, the best night out is a fancy night in. Introducing Gourmet Delights, only at Papa Murphy's. Delicious grown-up ingredients like Angus steak and spicy fennel sausage on a crispy thin crust. Home bake a Papa Murphy's Gourmet Delight pizza, just $11. Fresh made, fresh baked, fresh gourmet. Papa Murphy's, love at 425 degrees.
Hey sports fans, do you want to get in shape? Text LA Fitness to 50500 for a complimentary guest pass to your local LA Fitness. That's LA Fitness to 50500. Exercise your options.
Giving back to the community is very important to our family.
Help the Portland community and buy your 50/50 raffle tickets at every Timbers and Thorns home game. As a current board member of AC Portland, I know they're making a difference in the community through sports and education. 50% of the jackpot benefits Active Children Portland and the Stand Together Fields for All program. To participate, look for the 50/50 signs at home games and visit timbers.com/5050 for more information.
Welcome back to the KeyBank halftime show at Providence Park. The Portland Thorns trailing the Washington Spirit 2-1 at halftime. The goal scorer in this first half, Portland Thorns midfielder Mana Shim, now with 3 goals in the first 3.5 matches of this season. Earlier this week, our Ann Schatz sat down or stood with Mana Shim to get to know the Thorns midfielder a little bit better.
It is such a delight to catch up with Mana Shim because our topic is going to be about the rebirth of this player. I know last year was a struggle for you. Hard to find the footing and the holding with the club, the new coach. You seemed a little bit not Mana-like, and yet here you are again, kind of playing like you did in year 1 with this reckless abandon, this joy, this smile on your face. Gosh, it's good to see again.
Yeah, last year was, everyone knows it was a hard year for me, and I think it was such an important experience for me because I was challenged, you know, and I had my back up against the wall, and it was kind of like, what do you want to get from this? And I was challenged by my coaches, my teammates, everything, myself. I was really critical of myself, and I wasn't enjoying it as much. And I know that I play best when I'm enjoying it, and so in the off season, it was really about finding that joy again. And with that, I mean, there were a lot of other things that needed to come, and I think a huge one was fitness and just being comfortable out here on the field and not worrying so much about making mistakes or letting other people down, including myself. And it's been an incredible process. Coming into preseason, I was kind of like, I knew I put in the work, but I was worried about, you know, what was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You have no idea. There's so many things that we can't control out here on the fields, and I think I'm just really grateful for the way it's gone so far, and I hope that we can continue to progress as a team. And for me individually, I feel like I'm in a really good place, and other people have recognized that, including Paul and the coaching staff. So I think it's just rolling with where we are.
You mentioned things you can't control, but what you could control, you did control.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I work on every single day. I recently had a conversation with Paul, and he was like, what's the difference? You know, obviously there are a lot of things that are different that are obvious, but one huge one is I take a couple extra minutes in the locker room now to just kind of get my mind right, to reset and really feel like, okay, I'm stepping out on the field today. I can control my work rate, my attitude, how I feel about being out here on the pitch. And it's just a completely different environment to me.
Your teammates have absolutely embraced your role, a role that is very substantial this year. They look to you, they know you're a scoring threat. It seems like as far as being in sync, not only with yourself, but with those around you on the pitch, that's been a marked improvement as well.
It has been. I'm so glad that you say that, because we feel that, but it's different for everyone else to feel it, you know? And it's on the field, it's off the field, it's just this trust, and we had it from day one. It's just something that our team has brought. We really, like, we came in, and the first day we were kind of stressing out a little bit. We're like, oh, nervous to do some things. But the first person who made a mistake, everyone else was like, we got this, we're good. And that's the environment that we have in the locker room, and that's also what we have out here on the field. So I think it's definitely translating on both ends.
So as long as Mana can bring the game to the pitch, but also the joy to the pitch, I think this is going to be a heck of a year, don't you?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm definitely, if I'm smiling, I'm in a good place, yeah.
Smiling so far. Thanks, Mana, for taking the time.
Mana Shim, the goal scorer for the Thorns today, just like last week, a 28th minute goal to pull one back for the Thorns and make it 2-1 at halftime. Will the Thorns be able to pull a result out like they did a week ago against Chicago? We'll talk to Janine Sparra about how they can do that when we come back on the KeyBank Halftime Show.
You wake up, your back hurts, again. You need a new mattress, but hate shopping for one. Just go to a Park Lane. Crafted in Oregon. Sold only in Park Lane stores at a true minimum price. They'll match the way you sleep to the Park Lane's best for you. Delivered in 2 trucks. The blue one only delivers fresh, just-made Park Lanes. The green one only hauls old mattresses to recycling. Enjoy every night on a Park Lane. Rest well for years to come.
From an early age, I knew I was destined for greatness. Dad would say,
Eres un has abocado, mijo. Eres especial.
Dad was right. I was ripe for big things. Not typical expected things, but bold, more exciting things. So I carried on until one day I found my true calling.
Discover new guacamole sandwiches at McDonald's with freshly made pico de gallo and guacamole made with Hass avocados.
I made the big time, Dad.
Tire Factory doesn't make tires. They will make you happy by selling top brands like Goodyear, Nokian, and Hankook. So why the name? Well, 30 years ago, over coffee at a Sherry's, 5 tire store owners reasoned if they combined their purchases, they could save their customers money. Worked then, works now, with over 200 stores in the West. See for yourself. Need tires or service? Trust what you love to Tire Factory, where you'll always have the owner's name on it.
Welcome back to to the KeyBank Halftime Show. Jake Ziven joined again by Janine Sparrow, former U.S. Women's National Teamer. Janine, this match playing out just like the Thorns' last match against Chicago 2 weeks ago. 2 early goals from the opponent, and then the Thorns pull one back to make it 2-1 at halftime. Let's start with what the Spirit have done well in this first half. How were they able to jump out so quickly on the Thorns?
Well, first of all, they took advantage of what they were given, and a couple of them were a little bit of a giveaway. The second one, they've taken the opportunities and they've transitioned very quickly, went straight to goal. For another one, they had one off the crossbar. And lastly, they're just very good in getting numbers up, so they're attacking. It's a very attacking mentality, and they're going forward, and they've taken those 3 things to really create a lot of chances.
Last week, the Thorns in the same spot got an early goal in the second half from to make it 2-2. Now, how do they do that again today? They controlled the second half against Chicago and got a result. What do they need to do in this second half to get a result against the Spirit?
Maybe have Sarah Jackson just be a little bit more confident, which I think she got in the first half. She had that great turn. She was there. They may look for somebody to insert somebody new, sometimes you look for a spark off the bench, or someone's like, okay, who's going to be lucky tonight? And lastly, I think they need to get a little bit more numbers into the attack. We still are usually attacking. It's a 1v4 or a 3v6. It's just not high enough numbers to kind of maximize the chance of the opportunities that you may get in front of the goal.
For the second straight match, the Thorns in a 2-1 hole at halftime. When we come back, first half highlights and the second half kick at halftime. Portland Thorns trail Washington 2-1.
Miles with numbers. Rapinoe sees it, and it's in!
Up to Evans. Tee it up. Shot on target!
What a goal!
Thorns looking to cross. Let's go! In front! Clear! Right at the keeper! And then Christian puts it away!
You have fun, you will win, and you'll make me very, very happy.
Don't do it! Your account balance is $38. How much is that?
It's $40.
40. With an overdraft fee of 35 bucks? Is that blouse really worth $75? It doesn't even have sleeves.
We have shirts with sleeves.
Don't get charged overdraft fees. Switch to the new KeyBank hassle-free account. It's a checkless account with payment options and no monthly fees.
From an early age, I knew I was destined for greatness. Dad would say,
Eres un has abocado, mijo. Eres especial.
Dad was right. I was ripe for big things. Not typical expected things, but bold, more exciting things. So I carried on until one day I found my true calling.
Discover new guacamole sandwiches at McDonald's with freshly made pico de gallo and guacamole made with Haas avocados.
I made the big time, Dad.
Welcome back to Providence Park. The Washington Spirit, a 2-1 lead over the Portland Thorns at halftime. Jake Ziven alongside former U.S. Women's National Teamer Janine Sparrow. Let's go over the first half highlights. Janine, Washington started out quickly. Took just over 2 minutes for the Spirit to get their goal. It was Crystal Dunn in the 3rd minute.
This is just a little errant pass that Dunn runs onto and finishes really strongly.
10 minutes later, it was Francesca Ordega capitalizing off a giveaway in the back.
Exactly. She's right there. They have good pressure on the back. She steps in, wins it, and then buries it.
It's 2-0 early for Washington. Second straight match, the Thorns have been in that situation. And for the second straight match, in the 29th minute, Monashim pulls one back.
That was great for Allie Long to turn her defender. Here she gets inside, lays off the nice ball. Jackson makes a great turn, point-blank shot, good hand on it, but Shim's there to clean it up.
2-1 at halftime. The Thorns, for the second straight match, just like 2 weeks ago in Chicago, find themselves in a 2-1 hole, having to crawl back and try to get a result in the second half. We talked about it before the break, Janine. The goal in Chicago came in the 47th minute from Mana Shim. 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes after halftime. Is a quick response, a quick goal important, or at least a hot start out of the locker room, so to speak, important for the Thorns
Well,
tonight?
It's certainly helpful so you can set up the rest of your 45 minutes. It kind of brings you back into the game. Is it paramount? Is that the thing, the only way it's going to work? No. There's a bunch of things they can do, but you never turn a goal down, and it's certainly helpful. And like I said, it does really set up the rest of the half for you.
So far, the last match against Chicago and today against Washington, the two matches have played out very similarly. It was Christine Sinclair in the 29th minute in Chicago that pulled one back to make it 2-1. Same time as Mana Shim's goal today, both times in the 29th minute. The Thorns pulled one back. Again, Shim's goal in Chicago to equalize came just minutes after halftime. Can the Thorns do the same tonight? No changes at halftime for either squad. Thorns in the second half this season have scored 3 goals. They have scored now 5 goals in the first half of matches. Scored twice in the opener here at Providence Park against Boston. Ortega sends it across the box. No one's there for Washington. Zerboni slow to get rid of it. Dunn goes down in the box. No call. And it's a goal kick.
Some of the decision-making by the Thorns tonight is just a little bit slow. You'd like to see Zerboni have a better option when she gets the ball, knowing what she wants to do with it before she gets it. Just takes too much time on the ball in that kind of situation at the top of the box.
The second goal was scored by Washington was off a giveaway. Almost another there. Lohman controls in the midfield for Washington. Pressure from the Thorns forced that giveaway, and they can counter. Long. Out wide to Johnson. Didn't do much in the first half, Kendall Johnson. Chance here early in the second. Low cross is handled easily by the Spirit.
You can see Washington has all but 2 players back on that, so they have good numbers on defense, which makes it really hard for the Thorns to get through.
A lot of time and space for Dunn. Tries to pick out Ortega. Van Hallebeck does well to head the ball on to Camo. Camo, again, maybe a little slow to get rid of the ball, to clear it, and Ortega wins it. Ortega slips, goes down. She kept it in play.
Thorns are having trouble with her. Ortega's doing a great job on the outside.
Bowman lays it off to Houston, who skies it into the crowd.
You could see Unger tried to play that ball a little bit early. She was trying to play short, but there's a little bit of a hesitation. She's either not liking what she sees, or she's not super confident in that short ball and then telling players to get up.
It's not the first time that's happened today. Dunn cuts inside, tried to find Huster. It goes through Lohman, through Farley, and Van Hallebeck controls. Now Shim, wide to Camo. Back to Farley. Zerboni. Camo. Patience, possession from the Thorns. Well worked, long. To Farley, now Johnson. Johnson in the box. Cross was blocked.
The think they still need to attack with a little bit more pace. There's just not that sense of urgency out of them where Allie Long gets the ball and turns hard and goes straight up. It's a little bit of a elongated turn, which is just kind of slowing down their attack.
Crystal Dunn, she's been a handful for the Thorns. Pokes it away and comes forward. Nairn is onside. Early cross, no one's there. And it's harmless. Van Hollebeck collects.
An uncharacteristic ball out of Narn and it's a great service to no one, so it's a great ball at the wrong time. She had held on to it and been able to do a little bit more with it or wait for some players to come up. You might have been able to get something out of it.
Camo, one-on-one with Catherine Reynolds. Camo gets across off to the back post. Long, couldn't keep it in play.
That's a great ball from Kumo. A little step over to kind of pause her defender, push the ball past, got a little space. Great ball whipped in with a little bit of a bend on it. Allie Long just couldn't quite get to it in the back side of the box.
There just wasn't anybody there at the back post. Weiss takes the goal kick towards midfield. Johnson heads it towards Long, but it's handled by the Spirit. Still there for the Thorns. Johnson, Long, over to Shim, back to Long. A chance for an equalizer. Allie Long has leveled the match. 2-2.
Such a great job by Monashim to slip Allie Long in. This is what they're good at. That's the kind of ball movement and teamwork that really is the cornerstone of this team and what they do. And it's nice to see them kind of trying to, I think it's taking them a little time, but hopefully this is the rhythm. This is what the Thorns have been trying to do.
Fourth goal of the year for Allie Long. And the script remains the same as the last match against Chicago. Took 2 minutes in Chicago to get the equalizer after the break. Took 6 minutes today at Providence Park. And again, it's Monashim, the provider. Her third assist of the season. All of her assists have been to Allie Long. 3 of Allie Long's 4 goals have been assisted by Monashim. Those 2 in the attacking midfield have been so effective for the Thorns this season.
Those are that 4, that box that Paul always talks about. He talks about how they work well together, how the core, how they anchor or settle the team in there, and they cause things. I mean, Allie caused that a little bit. Caused the turnover, got her foot in, got it to Mana. Mana lays it back off again. It's a great job.
Done. She scored the first. Sent clear by Williamson.
What a dynamic player Dunn is. You see her on runs like that, and you forget. I mean, she plays a lot at defender, and obviously Washington's not playing there to great effect, and you can see why.
Johnson, Long, back to Johnson. Sent into the box. Jackson couldn't turn it on that. Dangerous ball from Kendall Johnson. Jackson did well to fake a near post run and then find some space, and she just couldn't keep it down.
She had just a little bit higher ponytail. I think she would have gotten something on it toward goal.
Just a little too high for Sarah Jackson. The new guacamole burger or chicken sandwich at McDonald's, made with Haas avocados and served with freshly made pico de gallo and a slice of lime. Try it today, paired with your choice of sizzling 100% beef or tender, delicious chicken at participating McDonald's. Dunn gets around Menges. Still Dunn. Space at the top of the box on her left foot. Shoots over the bar. Dangerous from Crystal Dunn and the Washington Spirit.
There's a part of me that just keeps wanting to ask the question, defender?
It's where she's been playing with the national team.
Right. Well, you fill a need, and there are definitely good attributes to putting her in the back because she likes to attack, and that's what soccer we're trying to do these days. Is everybody wants to attack out of the back with their outsides. So you can see that and see where it's helpful. It's just hard because she's so good up top. She's gets involved and is dynamic and causing all kinds of problems.
An up-and-coming player for the U.S. national team, not on the Women's World Cup roster
yet.
Exactly. Just 21 years old. There's a chance for Lohman. And she couldn't put it on net. Just 22 years old, Crystal Dunn. plenty of time to play in a World Cup. Certainly the Olympics next summer a possibility for her as well. And trained to speak with the women's.
That goes back to the point you were making earlier about how these players are on the fringe of the national teams.
Thorns have a handful of players as well. Goalkeeper instincts came into play there, Janine, as that ball was headed on a trajectory towards us up in the press box. Certainly didn't make it.
I was going to go get a souvenir out of that one.
Kendall Johnson, player with national team aspirations of her own, wins a corner kick. Paul Riley said yesterday that he thinks the role of these core players that are still here with the Thorns, one of their goals, you could say, their role in the big picture of the national team program is to make Jill Ellis's job hard for the Olympics next summer. And he really feels like McCall Zerboni, Sinead Farley, Allie Long, Mana Shim, Kat Williamson, Kendall Johnson, of course, Rachel Van Hallebeck, can all be in that discussion, even in Emily Mendez for the national team for the Olympics next year. Allie Long sent to the back post, clear by Washington.
It's one of the beautiful things about this league, the reason why it's so important and gives so much to our country, and why the United States, Mexico, Canada stepped up to help fund those players. They pay for those national team players or their salaries in a joint effort to make this league go, because it develops them. It continues instead of being 22 years old and being done. Right when you haven't even, again, seen your prime, seen what you can do, to have these players playing in the best possible environment, and that's professional soccer.
And in every sport, you see players develop late. Almost got through to Allie Long. Certainly, look at the men's national team. Guys like Kyle Beckerman, now Nick Raimondo, have come into that team late in their careers and have done very well.
If I think about all the things I learned between 22 and the time that I finished playing, which was at 35, there was a lot of information and skill that was gained in those years. So I'm just so excited to see these players out here and be able to see them each week in Portland, you know, in other cities, watch them on the webcast, watch these players develop, and basically you're seeing the future of U.S. soccer, of soccer in other countries develop and grow.
Mana Shim has had a fantastic start to the 2015 season. One of those players on the Thorns playing her way into that conversation. Zerboni cuts back in the midfield. Finds Shim. Ready, and a goal and an assist tonight for Shim. There's a giveaway. And a big run forward from Megan Oyster. The central defender lays it off to Dunn. Left-footed shot, blocked twice. Ortega, a chance in the box.
That was a great little foray in up front for their center back.
Always fun for a center back. Dunn shoots low, and that's easy for Nadine Unger.
Very popular with the crowd, that save.
Nadine Unger, of course, a fan favorite here at Providence Park. This is her send-off match before the World Cup. She'll be getting on a plane tomorrow to join her German national team in preparation for the Women's World Cup.
Trying to recreate some of that magic as a former World Player of the Year.
What an honor that is to win that award. Allie Long will lead the attack now for the Portland Thorns. Picks out Kendall Johnson. First time crossed into the area, flicked to the top of the box, and then helped on by Huster. An important header from Tori Huster as Allie Long was lurking at the top of the area.
I think you've just seen this game open up. I think that goal, I think they're capitalizing on a lot of the energy and excitement and starting to go after it, and you're starting to see those seams in Washington starting to give away a little bit of the ground that they had, or that they were controlling so well in the first half.
Certainly the energy in this stadium has picked up since that equalizer from Allie Long. As you'd expect, 2 goals in the first 13, 14 minutes from Washington is going to put a damper on a crowd, even a crowd as great as this one at Providence Park. But the fight back to equalize this match has energized the crowd, and here comes Sinead Farley. Looking for Long on the back post, but mishit it, and it's easy for Weiss. Menges steps up, sends it into touch. Emily Menges and Crystal Dunn were club teammates for Paul Riley's Albertson Fury on Long Island. Dunn grew up in the same town that Riley lived in, Rockville Center, New York. He knows her very well, and Menges and Dunn know each other very well, and they've been going at it tonight.
It's kind of another nice thing about the league of players playing with each other in club systems, going to college together, and then playing with or against each other on their professional teams.
A giveaway again, and a nice save from Nadine Angerer. Lohman with the opportunity. Jackson bumped off the ball. Won by the Spirit. Huster. Ortega. Williamson steps up to win it. Oyster goes direct, and that's easy for Nadine Angerer. Paul Riley told us a great story about how Emily Menges came into their club system, into the Albertson Fury. She was playing on a different club, and his wife, Tracy, who was a coach, wanted Emily Menges to play for them. And Menges was a guest player for their club in a match. She challenged Emily Menges to a game of Trouble, the board game. And Paul Riley's wife, Tracy, won that game of Trouble, so Emily Menges joined the Albertson Fury. Obviously a move that worked out for Emily Menges and her career.
I didn't press him, and I probably should have, to see if there was any kind of subterfuge that went on in that game or any kind of chicanery that happened to manufacture that win.
Paul Riley coached Menges and Crystal Dunn from the time they were about 13 until they went to college. They were in his club out on the East Coast. Dunn curls it to the back post. Nobody's there.
It's not a bad idea. Nice little left-footed service in.
Como. Shim.
That's a nice little attacking run for her. It's not that she went forward too far or got too much, but the idea that she's going at speed in transition to kind of see what's available up there is really nice to see out of Kumo.
Allie Long a little too far ahead of Kendall Johnson. Allie wanted Johnson to make that run a little earlier, be a little more aggressive, pushing up the pitch. Thorns used a lot of energy to get back level in this match. Still a long ways to go. Johnson flicks it on towards Long. Allie Long, so strong, gets away from Huster. Long cuts down to her right foot, shoots right at Weiss.
Finally, Thorns getting a little bit more numbers in that situation. They had a little bit of a 4v3 going in there. Allie chose to shoot, but she did have some support, which is a good sign coming from the Thorns.
Disrupting again in the defensive midfield. This will fall to Angerer. As a team, you're down 2-0 early. You come back to level the match. It's a huge accomplishment in its own right. Is it easy to not get complacent and not just feel good about leveling the match and still wanting to push ahead to get a winner?
I think this team, I think the Thorns really wants to win. I don't think they are going to let that be the settling point for them.
Como wins a corner kick. And Chain soon maybe to get that next goal. Second straight match the Thorns have been down 2-0 early in the first half. Second straight match they've come back to be level by early in the second half. Long chips it to the near post. Farley goes back to Long. Second cross falls to Shim. She couldn't bring it down, and it's a goal kick.
Unfortunately, that ball was a little bit behind Shim, and she couldn't quite get her body around to get it anywhere on the face of the goal.
And the referee
calling a handball
has pointed to the spot. While we're in replay, referee Elvis Mamudovic pointed to the spot, and it's a penalty kick for the Thorns in the 65th minute. Everyone, I think, on the pitch and even in the stands a little bit confused. Christine Nairn pleading her case, but must have been a handball.
That early entry ball from the outside player on the side of the box looked like it clipped him on the way in.
And here's a chance for the Thorns to take the lead. Allie Long, already a goal tonight. 12 yards away from Kelsey Weiss. It's Long, and it's saved by Weiss. Follow up from Jackson sent wide. Kelsey Weiss read it all the way, and we are still level.
Yeah, that's a great save by Weiss. Not badly struck by Allie. She probably could hit a little hard, a little bit more to the side. Weiss got a good jump on it. I think a lot of people are going to really be reviewing the play, see just what happened. You see her arm come up a little bit on it. It's a tough call, but it may have been a PK.
It appeared that the penalty called on the handball. And a glorious chance missed by the Portland Thorns. Still find themselves tied. And now Washington trying maybe to go ahead. And it looked like maybe a handball.
I thought he was going to call that one too. She was outside the box, however, so it would have just been a free kick.
Here come the Thorns. Kendall Johnson, she's put in a lot of work in this second half down the left side. Cross into the area over the head of Allie Long. Camo on Russian, couldn't get to it.
That was a good quality ball in by Kendall Johnson. One of the best crosses I've seen her hit in a couple of games.
Zerboni. Up wide to Taylor Camo, and flag goes up. Camo was offside. Taylor Como, one of the two reserve players, getting their first Providence Park start tonight. She started against Chicago last week. Sarah Jackson, the other. There are three reserve players on the bench: Alyssa Kleiner, Kelsey Haycock, and Kate Bennett. And now we're going to have our first substitution of the match. It'll come from the Washington Spirit. Amanda DaCosta will come on. Another New York native that Paul Riley knows pretty well. Appeared to be a little confusion from the Spirit as to who was coming off as Crystal Dunn kind of began to jog towards midfield. It's not Crystal Dunn. It is Angela Salem. So DaCosta for Salem, the first sub of the match. Amanda DaCosta in her first season with Washington, played the last 3 years with the Liverpool ladies. Won back-to-back championships with Liverpool.
She is another quality player for Washington, so they're trying to find that player again. Now Washington is trying to find maybe that spark or somebody that can kind of lift them and push them over that threshold.
Shim tries to pick out Allie Long. Is dealt with by Oyster.
Probably only 6 inches off from getting in over top of that defender.
Dunn gets away from her former club teammate, Emily Menges. Menges follows it up and is able to bother Dunn enough that she's unable to Get a good cross in, and again, the Thorns slow to clear, and that looked dangerous, though ultimately no harm done. And now the Thorns will make a substitution. Paul Riley's first sub of the match. Hannah Terry comes to the fourth official, ready to make her 2015 season debut. And Taylor Comeau will come off. So Hannah Terry listed as a forward. Most fans probably think of her as a forward, but Paul Riley has said in this 3-4-2-1 system, Hannah Terry's been playing at wingback. That's where he thinks she's most natural. Can't really play as a lone striker, Paul Riley has said, so she's been tried out at wingback, and she comes into the match for the first time this season in that position.
And it is high enough off the field and what he's asking out of them that it's so much closer to what she's used to doing than the traditional, what we would think of as wingback.
Almost like a wide attacker in a 4-3-3.
More so, yes.
With when they're attacking.
Yes.
Sure. Long in the midfield. And here is Hannah Terry. See how high up the pitch she is at right wing back. Looking direct towards Jackson. Controlled by Washington.
Terry's brought some good speed onto the field. That was a nice little run up by her.
She's a player maybe to look up to if you're Taylor Comeau or Sarah Jackson. She debuted last season as a reserve player for the Thorns, was signed as a full-time first-team player in July. Only got into 2 matches in the regular season for the Thorns, but made that jump from reserve player up to being a full-fledged roster member on the first team.
Well, Paul Riley talked about his options for tonight and went through the players. And when he was talking about those attacking players, he says that they're very close to each other. They're very not similar in play, but as far as what they can offer. So it's also a hard call for him because he has good opportunities, good chances.
Shim back to Long, just wide. The combination play from those two has been so fun to watch this season. Hallie Long just missing.
Yeah, she, again, nice quick ball in, kind of couldn't put her foot around it. Really tough angle for her to try to get something on it to redirect it toward goal.
Yeah, Oyster missed it. And Hallie Long, she scored the equalizing goal in the 51st minute. Has certainly had opportunities to put the Thorns ahead. A penalty kick that was saved. And then just moments ago, Ortega gets behind Van Hallebeck, who is down in the turf. Play on. Ortega in the box on her left foot, saved by Angerer. Spilled into a dangerous spot, but sent clear by Shim. Van Hallebeck still down on the far side, and that leaves a lot of space for Francisca Ortega. Terry now back to cover for Van Hallebeck, who's back up onto her feet. It's sent out into touch.
Kind of an interesting choice by Ortega not to take advantage of that a little bit more with Van Hallebeck on the ground.
And now the Thorns trainers will come out to check on Rachel Van Hallebeck. Ortega taking this opportunity to stretch out as well. Alaska Airlines flyers can now enjoy free entertainment to their own device. Learn more at alaskaair.com/beyond. 14,236 here at Providence Park tonight. Highest this season so far. A beautiful night to watch a match as Rachel Van Hallebeck gets checked out. Went down kind of awkwardly, battling with Francisca Ortega a few moments ago.
It's an interesting point of the game. You've seen it open up. You've seen after the goal, the game, as we said, has opened up a little bit more space, a little bit more attacking, there is a little bit more of a sense of trying to accomplish something. So what they're trying to do is find those teams, go at them, take advantage of those opportunities that they're either creating or that are happening on the field. And so it's the game, as they say, got interesting.
It has been an interesting and entertaining match through 74 minutes. Van Hallebeck has to come off the pitch even if she's going to stay in, but Alyssa Kleiner, a reserve player, is with the fourth official. Kleiner played the last 4 seasons at Santa Clara, where she was teammates with Sarah Jackson.
Nice little West Coast connection there.
And Van Hallebeck will come out of the match. Kleiner will come on. So Kleiner will play kind of at right center back for Van Hallebeck, and that's the second substitution of the match. Courtney Nemec out tonight with an injury. Would be the normal kind of other choice, natural choice at center back for the Thorns, but is unavailable. So now 3 reserve players.
It is interesting, someone that Paul talked about as an attacking player, you know, going back in that back line. But it speaks to the knowledge of these players and what they can do. Most of them have played in different positions and should at this point know the game well enough to be able to slot in when they have to and help the team out.
Second substitution now for Washington. It's Alex Singer coming on and Whitney Church coming out. Alex Singer, another New York native from Rye, New York, who also played for Paul Riley's club out on the East Coast. Paul Riley has a lot of connections, not just on Washington, but in this league in general. Any team you go through in the NWSL, you'll find a lot of players who Riley either coached at the club level, almost another giveaway. Mendez gets the better of done there, or that he coached in Philadelphia in 2010 or 2011.
I think we're going to see out of Singer and the choice for Parsons and putting Singer in is she gets up the field a little bit better, I believe, and trying to get that attack going, adding some support.
The Thorns attack trying to get going. Johnson, some room in the box. Headed clear by Oyster. Another cross from Johnson. Sent out by Washington. Zerboni. Some touches forward. Johnson going at Alex Singer. Good cross in. Headed clear. Nice touch by Farley to maintain possession. And now it's Hannah Terry. She'll run at Reynolds. Terry has some speed. Got that cross off. Didn't go out for a corner and does well to recover.
A little 1v1 in the corner.
She tried to win a corner kick there. I think she was trying to play that off Catherine Reynolds.
She's been good. She's been a good addition for the Thorns coming on. She has done something. I think she's put them back on their heels just a little bit and shown that the Thorns have some speed that they can add, or that they still have that they can utilize. So she's done a good job so far. Hasn't been able to put one in, but is doing what she's supposed to be doing on the outside.
Nairn, right side, Alex Singer. Miss hit that ball, and it's right at Angerer.
That's what Singer was good at in the Seattle game, is getting up and then getting some of those crosses off, and that's I believe why Parsons put her in, and she showed that's what she has to offer.
Ortega touched it on towards Lohman. Williamson was there to handle it for the Thorns. Kleiner did well to win that for the Thorns, just into the match. Kleiner to Terry, into Shim, lays it off for Zerboni. Jackson gets it over to Farley, looking direct for Allie Long. Johnson trying to run onto it, and Singer plays it out for a throw. Johnson looking in for Long. Oyster won that battle. This is Nairn looking direct. Crystal Dunn was offside. Final substitution coming up momentarily for the Thorns as Kelsey Haycock comes to the fourth official. And it's not going to be before this restart. Will likely be before the next. Jackson back to Shim. Looking for Long. Controlled by Johnson.
That's another thing that's super helpful for the Thorns is when Monashim has the ball at her feet or she's able to get involved in the play. As you said, she's set up most of Ali Long's goals, and they work really well together. And she works well with the others. Is also she has such a nice, different little approach, a little spiciness to that game where she hits the kind of ball in quick and gets something for the team.
Farley draws a foul in the midfield, and now we'll get the substitution of Kelsey Haycock, who will make her NWSL debut, another reserve player. She scored 1 goal in every preseason match for the Thorns this season. A 2-time All-American at LaSalle. Scored 20 goals in 2014 at LaSalle. She'll come on for her fellow reserve player, Sarah Jackson. Haycock is a striker, 5'9".
Paul always talks about Haycock as kind of an unassuming player, somebody that you're not going to really see and expect or think that she's going to do a lot. But this woman has a nose for the goal, he says. She's always in the right place. She scores goals to the point when these players play against her or they practice, they want her on their team. 20 goals, no matter what level you're at. She's playing an NCAA D1 for LaSalle. That's quite an accomplishment. Long goes down and draws a free kick on top of the box. A very dangerous spot for the Thorns in the 82nd minute. Who takes this free kick? I don't know. It's hard. You've got a couple good options out there. Long, Shim. Also, it depends on your choice. If you're going to goal and you're getting a serve, a little bit of layoff, and who you want on the end of it.
Looks like Ali Long is taking this for herself. Probably want to see that if you're Paul Riley. She missed a PK. She saved on a PK. And you like that confidence, I assume, if you're a head coach, for a player who's missed a PK to still have the confidence to step up, grab the ball, and say, I want this opportunity.
You do. You need someone that if you're going to take it, you have to believe in it. You don't want to just, and I would say, take an obligatory kick where it's like, okay, I'll do it. So she's definitely got the confidence because she can back it up.
Will be Ali Long, parried over the bar by Kelsey Weiss. A great effort from Long. That was on net.
Could have been a little bit more challenging. It wasn't the most difficult save. It's a nice save from Weiss. It's solid. She struck it solid, but she didn't make Weiss move too much. She really hit it centrally in the goal.
Was able to keep it on frame. Corner kick now for the Thorns. Shim is there with Long. Shim's over the ball. Flag is up on that short corner, and that's, if you run that out of the training ground, it's a risk, is that Mana Shim's going to be in an offside position unless there's somebody on the goal line.
Correct, yeah, the two defenders were just a little bit higher, so as Mana passed it in, pass comes back, as the defenders are already on the other side of her, she ends up being offsides.
Thorns will push forward to try to lock Washington in as they have a restart in a pretty awkward spot on the field. 6 minutes plus stoppage time to go. What do the Thorns need to do to get a winner?
Well, it's interesting. It looks like they've made a little bit of adjustment. You know, Crystal Dunn on that left side for Washington. So Emily Mangus switched. She switched over there. Which allowed that matchup, that tough, strong, physical matchup of speed versus speed.
Alyssa Kleiner, the reserve player, was on the right side. Dunn, when Kleiner came into the match, moved to the right side, and then the Thorns.
You almost wonder if Kleiner texted her and said, "Excuse me, but would you mind switching over to the other side?"
Emily Menges has been the shadow of Crystal Dunn tonight. And other than that goal in the 3rd minute, has done pretty well on Dunn, I think.
She's had some good defensive battles with her. I mean, she's gotten in and she's done some things, but she could have done a lot more damage out there.
Williamson with time. Chips it into Allie Long. Haycock has Terry out wide. Just too much ahead of Anna Terry.
After that play, I'd like to see Mona Shim continue on a little bit. She lagged behind Kendall Johnson and her on the outsides, kind of watch the play. Again, they need those numbers up to maximize any chances they might get up there. But if they're trailing the play, if the ball goes through, they're just not going to be in a position to be very effective or help the team out with those numbers.
Final substitution of the match. Caroline Miller will come on. This is a big moment for Caroline Miller. She has not played since May 16th, 2013. Suffered a serious ankle injury. Missed the rest of that season. Missed all of last season. Has not played yet this year with Washington and has now returned to the pitch. It's been almost 2 years for the Virginia product. Has to be good for her to get back out on the field. Johnson into Haycock, back to Johnson. Can direct for Long, wasn't making the run. A foul called back where Kendall Johnson was. A delayed whistle. Again, referee waiting to see if
how it played
he can
out
play
a little
advantage.
bit. Yeah,
I think you like that if you're Portland Thorns.
Nothing wrong with seeing how that advantage plays out, and if you don't get it, you bring the ball back. It's just a nice job.
Kleiner sends it to the top of the box. Shim and Haycock both, I think, kind of dummied it on, thinking someone else was going to get to it. A collision between McCall Zerboni and Crystal Dunn in the midfield. And the trainers coming out to check on McCall Zerboni, who took a very hard hit on that collision.
This could be a little tough. 3 minutes left in the game. They used their last sub.
Of course, Zerboni can't continue. They'd have to finish with 10 on the pitch, and as heads collide.
Crowd liking that little, and I think a shoulder to the ribs as well. Might be calling a chiropractor.
Zerboni now up and jogging out. So you hope it was just, as you mentioned, the shoulder to the ribs knocking the wind out of her as opposed to a head-to-head collision.
Yeah, I think it seemed on the replay there was a little bit more of the midsection than it was of the head, so which is good. You don't want to see that happen. You don't see anybody get hurt. Definitely got to protect the melon.
Paul Zerboni appears to be okay. Getting some instructions now from Paul Riley on the sideline. There's just a few minutes left for the Thorns. They will have a restart in the midfield. Shim over the ball. Chips it into the box, looking for Long. Headed clear by the Spirit. Zerboni allowed back onto the pitch. Farley tried to get it over to Terry. Pops back to Farley. Williamson. Long. Back to Shim. Johnson dummied it towards Long. Johnson can come forward. She's been very active in this second half. Kendall Johnson wins a corner kick.
Nice to see Kendall Johnson up and involved. And again, Monashim, anytime she has the ball at her feet, she's doing something. It leads to something. She's done a great job with the passing, getting us forward, getting the team into where they need to be.
Monashim has been the facilitator this season for the Thorns. She told Paul Riley in the offseason, "I want to be like Vero." And she has assumed that role as the playmaker for the Thorns this season. Terry to Long, back to Terry. Back to Long, this is from the training ground, and it's not Allie Long's night. She does have the equalizing goal, but since then...
I don't think she was quite ready for that one. That was a good, quick play back to her, and it's just a little tough ball to do something with when you're moving that fast.
Nairn looks forward for Caroline Miller, and it's controlled by Nadine Unger. As we head towards stoppage time, the fourth official will indicate 4 minutes of added time. 4 minutes for the Thorns to search for a winner. For the Spirit as well.
It's not a bad amount of time. They have a little bit of the momentum going with them. They're up in and around the box.
Farley sends it to the back post. Johnson getting it down, but it's easy for Weiss. Farley, great move in the midfield. Washington controls. Farley's nutmegged, and foul called on the Thorns.
They may have got a little lucky on that, the Thorns. Washington's doing a very good job of putting those numbers up. In that last series, they were 5v5 up there in the attacking third, and if this next ball had gotten through, they have those numbers up there, which is really going to press the Thorns.
Dunn going at Menges. Heavy touch from Dunn. Goal kick for the Thorns. Nadine Unger will hustle to put this back into play. Second ball on the pitch. And then again, as Unger tried to get it off the pitch, hit one of the signboards in the back. Came right back out. Unger tells everyone, move forward. Let's go. Just a few minutes left.
I like that she wants to go. That's good for the Thorns. It's good to see them not just sitting on that 2-2 tie. They still want to go forward. They still want to get that result.
Zerboni back heel to Shim in a tight spot. Shim gets it to Johnson. Plays it early, looking for Long. Off her line is Weiss with the head. Aggressive goalkeeping from Kelsey Weiss again. Snuffs out a chance.
Such a beautiful ball from Johnson. That was so well placed. Just a perfect ball. And again, Weiss, well done. You brought it up in the beginning in the first half that she's playing off her line, that she's coming out. She's completely comfortable. And again, that's at least the second time she's cut something out that had she not come, that would have been potentially a goal, or at least really close to being a goal.
Zerboni called for the foul there. A takedown of Ortega. Zerboni's slow to get up after that collision. Everybody back defending for the Thorns. All 11 behind the ball.
It's become a nice little battle at the end of the game. Neither of these teams want to just stay with this 2-2 tie. They want to get something more out of it, more points.
Dangerous ball from Nairn. Andra! A fantastic save!
That's a great save. Unger was a little bit late, saw the ball, turned, tracked it well, never kept her eye or took her eye off the ball, so she reached behind. That ball was probably touching the goal line when she reached back to get it out.
That looked like it was headed for the back of the net. Nadine Unger keeping this match level for now at least.
That ball was completely behind her. Not only did she bring it back out of the goal, she got it away from the post and got it out, which was just such a great save. World-class save right there.
2013 FIFA Women's Player of the Year. Possibly rescuing a point for the Thorns. Spirit still with a corner kick. And a clear by Portland. And then sent back in by Singer, wide of the net.
A little bit of contact there. I think it was Huster that came out and made contact with Ungerer. She came out a little feisty. Ungerer was ready for that, and she got herself clear and make sure she wasn't impeded in the play.
Ungerer's goal kick, one off the head of Caroline Miller. Ortega tries to turn. Kleiner sent it clear. And it's full time. Final whistle blown for the second straight match. The Thorns go down 2-0 early and claw back to earn a point. 2-2 the final tonight from Providence Park. Janine, they had their chances to win it in the second half, but ultimately a point, considering you go down 2-0 after 14 minutes, probably a pretty good result.
It's a good sign for them. Again, Paul talked about what they've faced and what they do, and you see the difference in the team this year. That comfort, the control, the ability to not give up, to not kind of let that get away from them, let the game get away from them. Hard thing to come back from, but they did it. They rose to the challenge, showed what they can do, and that this team, it really is in contention and trying to put together a good, solid season all the way through.
This is the first match of the stretch without any of the World Cup players. And 1 point is the result in the first of that stretch without the Alex Morgans, the Christine Sinclairs, Tobin Heath, etc. 8 points now, the Thorns, as they improve to 2-0-2, still unbeaten on the season. The unbeaten home streak comes to now 8 matches with the 2-2 draw tonight. We're awaiting Mana Shim, who we will talk to. She's scored the first goal for the Thorns tonight to make it 2-1 in the 29th minute, and then assisted on Allie Long's goal in the second half, the equalizer, in the 51st minute. Mana, second straight match, you guys go down 2-0 early, equalize in the 29th minute, or get one back in the 29th minute, and then equalize early in the second half. A second straight match like that, how did this one feel? How are you guys processing this draw tonight?
But we came back again, and that obviously shows character, so that's something that we're really proud of. But that was not a very good overall performance from us, and I think that generally we just want to improve that a little bit.
3 goals, 3 assists now this season, a goal and assist again tonight. Playing great to start this year. How are you feeling in your current form?
You know, when our team plays well, I feel good. I didn't think today we, like I said, put together a very good performance. We want to do a lot better than that, but at the same time, it's good to get on the board. We'll take the point today, and yeah, that's kind of my job, to get on the board with goals and assists, so I'm proud of that.
What would you have liked to have seen in this game? What did you want to either get, be able to do, or have your players around you do a little bit more?
I think we just didn't quite get our rhythm that we wanted. In the past, I would say the first 3 games, we found our rhythm, and through the midfield, we really moved the ball, and we struggled to get there today. I think it was just the spacing, honestly, and angles. We didn't quite figure it out, and we were defending for a lot of the game. Second half was much, much better. We had some good angles and great opportunities. Obviously, Allie put one away, which was clutch. But yeah, I think that's what we can improve on.
Mana, thank you very much.
You're
a 2-2 draw tonight. Good luck next week in Boston.
Thank you so much.
Mana Shim, goal and an assist tonight for the Portland Thorns. Now 3 goals, 3 assists in 4 matches this season. The midfielder came into this year motivated after what she's described as a disappointing 2014, and she has certainly played very well to begin this season for the Portland Thorns. Janine, what do you want to see the Thorns improve on moving forward as we look to next week in Boston?
Well, I think as Mona Shims just said, finding their rhythm. They needed to find their rhythm from the beginning of the game. And it's interesting to hear that that's what she said. We talked about it a little bit up here. I think finding that and always being, again, confident, calm, consistent. Those are the things that are really going to lead them to a successful season and gain them those extra couple of points.
This match so similar to the last match, and let's relive it as we look at the highlights tonight. The Thorns and the Spirit. And Janine, for the second straight match, the Thorns concede very early. The Spirit got on the board in the 3rd minute tonight.
Right, this is just a little bit of a giveaway and a bad errant pass toward the center of the field that got capitalized on.
It was Crystal Dunn in the 3rd, then in the 14th minute off a giveaway, Francisca Ordega, 2-0 early on in this match. But for the second straight match, after a 2-0, going into a 2-0 hole, they get one back in the same exact minute, the 29th minute. This time, it's through Mona Shim.
They're prepared. This team is prepared well. They did not let down. They came out. As Shim said, they didn't quite have their rhythm. They gave away 2 goals, but they were able to come back, and that's really what this team is about. That they're doing the work. They're doing everything that they need to do, and consistently.
This was the equalizer from Allie Long in the 51st minute from Mona Shim. Made it 2-2. Second straight match. It was 2-0 early. Then a 29th minute goal to bring one back, and then an early goal in the second half to equalize. And boy, do the Thorns have chances to win this match. Allie Long's PK saved by Kelsey Weiss. Then another great chance from Long as Mona Shim sent her through and just couldn't turn this on net. And at the end, it took a Nadine Angerer fantastic save to keep this game level.
She almost literally pulled it out of this net. Again, that ball is completely behind her. Tracked it well, reached back, got it out of bounds into safety.
2-2, the final tonight. Our next home match is Saturday, May 23rd. The Thorns hosting the Houston Dash. It's a 7 p.m. start here at Providence Park. You can get your tickets at PortlandThornsFC.com. The next match for the Thorns next week in Boston, a 1 p.m. start. For everybody here at Providence Park, for Janine Sparrow, I'm Jake Simon. Thank you so much for watching tonight. Final score, Portland Thorns 2, Washington Spirit 2. Have a great night.